To make it today. Awesome. Pull up my notes, make sure I don't miss anything. Yeah, how are we feeling? How are we feeling for this full moon? Are we feeling it's a super moon? It's been beautiful the last couple nights. I walked outside last night. I was like, I wonder if I'll be able to find it. And it was literally just like right in the sky, so big, so bright. So yeah, how are you feeling on the supermoon? Are you feeling grounded? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling like, oh, like is it the beginning of a chapter? Is it the end of a chapter? I would love to know just what's coming up for everybody. And I'd also like to encourage everyone in here that, like, if you walk away with one thing today, and I say this every time, but I say it because, like, it's really the purpose and the heart of why we do this, whether there's 20 people on, whether there's two of us or three of us on, like, if you walk away with one thing, let it be a new connection. Let it be a new friend, right? Like that is the purpose of these meetups. Yes, we learn a little bit about the energy we're currently in. Sometimes you do like a meditation or a full moon workshop, but like the real reason we do these is to come together, to connect and to share stories and to really like see each other. I don't know who else relates to this, but like so often in my life, I know Mackenzie does. So often in my life, I've just been the space holder for people. Like I kind of joke and I say that I'm my parents' emotional support animal. Like, and I say that because I'm like, very rarely can someone who I just randomly meet, even friends, even family, like very rarely do I feel like someone is able to sort of meet me in the depths. Maybe that's my gate for 48 talking, but meeting me in the depths of like how I'm able to meet them. And that's really why I created this space was because I needed it. Like every time I'd meet a reflector, I'd be like, "Oh my God, like that was like the most magical experience ever." I feel like I was so seen. I feel like I was so heard. I never experienced with like other people that I meet. I needed to be met like with the same reflector magic that I pour into others. And so yeah, like that's what all of this is about. So, and the interesting thing is like I said, anytime I sit down with a reflector, I find that a lot of us have similar struggles or like had similar struggles growing up. And it's that conditioning, right? It's like the openness, and we all sort of have this like similar experience of heavy conditioning. And so maybe we have similar struggles now, and like being the 1% amongst 99% can feel really lonely and it can feel really isolating and it can be sort of hard to feel understood and seen. And in fact, sometimes it can feel safer not to be seen because when we stay small, like we're less at risk to be misunderstood and to be like rejected or perceived. I would love to know, maybe we can put it in the chat. Like I would love for you to drop in the chat if you feel like sometimes you struggle with visibility wounds. So wounds of being seen. Um, and I'm curious because it has a little bit to do with what this moon is bringing out in us. And I ask because, too, actually, my word for 2025 was visibility because I feel like that has held me back, right? Of just being my truest self. I've always hidden maybe these parts of myself. And so I ask because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that like the best way to work through those visibility wounds is to allow ourselves to be seen in a safe space by other women who just get it, right? Because they share the same struggles. And so this wound can follow us into so many aspects of life. Like it can follow us into work, into business, into friendships, into relationships, and even the way that like our relationship with ourself, the way that we face ourself. And so that's going to be a little bit about what we talk about today because we're in this Taurus full moon during Scorpio season. Any Scorpios in the house? Happy Scorpio season. Yes, Christina, birthday coming up. That's exciting. And so this full moon, it's calling us to face ourselves. Like it's calling us to travel into the underworld of our shadows and our shame and to bring these things into light so we can be present with them and integrate them. And a lot of people say, like, I hear this a lot. I say it a lot. I even wrote it down and then I kind of caught myself of like releasing our shadows, but that kind of has the connotation that maybe we're like rejecting these shadows. And I've been reading up on, Scorpio season and this Taurus full moon. And what I really took away from it, we're going to get a little bit deeper into like the lunar forecast, but like it's integrating those shadows. It's not releasing the shadows. It's not like rejecting and saying, I have to fix this part of myself, right? But it's integrating those parts of ourselves. And the moon is asking us to welcome them in and to like accept them and to love them because they've got us this far. So we're going to get into that a little bit. I'll be the one providing the lunar forecast today. Usually it's not me because I'm not an expert astrologer. I'm just really good at using Google. And then like interpret and add my own little flavor to it. But I'm going to be doing the full moon portion today. I felt called to deliver it this month. But before we get into that, I want to welcome our gal, Lindsay, up to our little virtual stage, if you will. Lindsay's a 4/6 reflector. I love her so much. She's a sound healer and a breath worker, and she's going to be leading us in a little grounding meditation to really anchor us into this November full moon energy. So that's exciting. And this month's full moon is in Taurus. And Lindsay is a Taurus stellium, which was actually not intentional. Like when I think of November, I just think of like autumn and this grounding, like earthy energy. And I was like, ooh, like I gotta hit up Lindsay because Lindsay, a couple months back, was a guest facilitator in the Radical Reflector Circle as a somatic facilitator for us in our Radical Reflectors Business Sanctuary. And the group consensus was that Lindsay has one of the most grounding energies. And I was like, all right, we need Lindsay for this. And then I realized the full moon was in Taurus, and I know that Lindsay's a Taurus stellium, and I was like, okay, needless to say, this came together very nicely. So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna give Lindsay her time and her space. And yeah, I'm just really excited. Lindsay, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Um, yeah, I'll just briefly say I have 5 planets in Taurus in my chart, which is kind of insane. And I think what's been up for me recently for this moon is just where can I find safety and security within my own physical body? Because Taurus is really all about sensuality and embodiment and just the like practical boots on the ground, like beingness. And yeah, so I think what came through for me this morning is actually to take you all through a ritual that I do every morning to help ground myself and to help myself feel really supported and contained. I'm teaching right now to pay my bills, and like being in front of, 26 children can sometimes be a lot of energy. And so this has helped me there, but it just helps me in all different aspects of my life. So, yeah, so I'm going to be bringing us through the 7 directions and calling in the different elements and just inviting us to be more present in our bodies. And hopefully it'll be helpful for you. And if you resonate with it, it's a practice that you can take with you throughout your life. So thanks. So I'm just going to invite you to find a comfortable seat and allow your eyes to gently close if that feels comfortable for you, or just keep a soft gaze. But just allowing yourself to land here in this moment, in this beautiful reflector circle. Just on the next few breaths, just let go anything from your day or your week that may be on your mind. And just inviting you to fully land here. Imagine any parts of yourself that you may have left behind, imagining them coming in imagine your spine like a magnet, just pulling them all back to you, allowing them to go wherever they need to go, and just welcoming all parts of yourself here. And if it feels good, you can say, I call myself to myself. I call myself to myself. And still allowing yourself to really feel your own energy. And allowing a taproot to drop down from the base of your spine, deep down into the earth. and calling in that support from the earth. And if there's anything from your day or your week that you're ready to let go of, just imagine it easily flowing through your body and down that taproot and asking the earth to compost it for you. And on your next couple of breaths, just allow anything that needs to move to move. You don't need to force anything. And just allow. And taking one more breath in and releasing out. Turning our attention to the direction of the east and then honoring the element of air, honoring that every breath we take in is connecting us to spirit, to life. That every breath we take reminds us that we're alive. The east honors the energy of the dawning of a new day, of seeds being planted, honoring the winged ones, the bird beings, honoring their eagle eye view. And on this full moon, may we have clarity of vision, that what we're planting, we can see what's meant for us to plant, that we can see from that bird's eye view with clarity what we're creating, what we're calling into our lives. And just calling in the support of Ritual East. And we're giving thanks. And turning our attention to the direction of the south and welcoming in the element of fire, the energy of alchemy, of birthing into being that which we want to create on this planet. Knowing that the element of fire can alchemize what's ready to be birthed. And knowing that we have the discernment to know what is for us. So asking to have that discernment, that we have the patience to wait, but when we know it is time to take action, may we take action with clarity. May we have the power and the energy to make manifest what we're bringing in. And just allowing ourselves to feel that fire in our bodies through our life force energy, knowing that that fire, that energy is always present for us to tap into. And we give thanks. Turning to face the direction of the west, we welcome in the element of water. We welcome in ease and grace. We ask that our emotions and our energy take the path of least resistance, like the water. We ask that everything flow easily. This is the time of the harvest. We ask that we have discernment about what is ours to keep and what is meant to be given to others and what is meant to be released. May we have that clarity of discernment of what is ours. May we harvest what we have built and feel proud of everything that we've created. And may we feel that element of water in our bodies as the blood pumps through our veins. You might even want to place your hand on your heart to feel that connection with the water. And just know that that energy of ease and grace is always available to you. Turning to face the north, we invite in the element of earth. We feel the earth in our blood, in our bones, in our bodies. We feel connection to our ancestors of our blood and bone lineage, knowing that we carry their gifts and their strengths. I invite you to just take a moment and imagine, what strengths and gifts do you hold in your bones? What are the gifts that your ancestors give you? Is it your resilience, your creativity, your love? You so often think about how we're healing wounds for our ancestors, but we're also carrying their gifts. So just allow yourself to feel that power in your body. Time of the North is also the sacred pause, that time of midnight. So knowing that we can go within, we can tend to our roots when we need that pause, when we need that clarity. We can take a still moment to pause and get quiet and go within and know what we need. Know that we can tend to our bodies. And giving thanks for the element of the earth. Acknowledging the above, acknowledging the planetary transits and the moment that brought us all here right now, allowing us to flow freely with the transits and just know that we have access to all of the above, all of the light, all of the beings that serve the vibration of love that are here to support us. May we feel the presence of the unseen. May we feel supported by them as we go about our day. Again, honoring the below, honoring the earth beneath our feet, honoring the creepy crawlies below the soil that compost what's no longer ours, to create nourishment, knowing that what's no longer serving us can make space for what's to come, can actually nourish the things that we're calling in, that we're planting, that are coming to fruition. And lastly, placing our hand on our heart and acknowledging the within, knowing that we are the microcosm of the macrocosm, that as above, so below. Knowing that we are channels for the universe to work through us as us, that we are perfect as we are. May we have the courage to live fully as ourselves. May we shine our light on the world around us, on our family, on our friends, on our clients, on this world. May we live fully as the gifts that we are on this planet. May we feel the support of all the directions, all the resources, all the elements. May we feel them in our bodies. May we know that they are always available to us. I'm just taking one more deep breath in to anchor that and letting it go. And just taking a moment to feel you, feel your energy, feel what makes you unique and special, what makes you you, what makes you a gift. May you bring all of your uniqueness and all of your gifts to our gathering today. Take the time that you need, but when you're ready, you can gently allow your eyes to flutter open. You can make eye contact with someone in our room. And just thank you for your presence and thank you for being here.
I could have stayed there forever. That was beautiful. That was so
Thanks.
powerful. Thank you so much. I have my little elements tattoo, earth, air, fire, water, spirit. So that was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so good to see
Thank
everyone's
you.
faces. Lacey, hi. Caitlin, hi. Sarah, hi. Awesome. So, a couple days ago, I stumbled across this post called The November's Prayer, and it really spoke to me. And I wanted to share it with you before we get into the next 15 minutes or so of the like full moon portion of today. So just learning about what energy we're in, doing a little lunar forecast. But I feel like no matter like who or what we all believe in, God, the universe, your guides, wherever you source your power from and your faith from, it's just a beautiful prayer to kind of speak into the world. As I step into November, I surrender everything to you, my fears, my hopes, my plans. I lay them at your feet. I declare the rest of this year to be filled with new beginnings, open doors, and unexpected blessings. When I feel lost, be my guide. When I feel weak, be my strength. When I feel anxious, fill me with your peace. I may not know what the future holds, but I know you are in control and your plans for me are good. I trust you will never give me more than I can bear, for where my strength ends, yours begins. This November, no more fear, no more doubt, only faith, growth, and favor. I felt this prayer. I sent it to Lindsay, and I felt this prayer just like so deeply land because I think it mirrors a lot of what this Taurus full moon is teaching us, which is to surrender the plans, the expectations, and really like the old ways that we've been keeping ourselves safe, and trust that the universe is guiding us exactly where we need to be. And this Taurus full moon is strong. It's illuminating really like aspects of ourselves that we've buried and repressed and lost sight of in the process of trying to survive in this world, right? Survive the things that we've been through. And even though these are beautiful, precious parts of ourselves, we hide them, right? And then we call them our shadows with this like negative sort of connotation as if it's this thing we need to like fix or heal. And this full moon is really calling us home to these parts so that we can see our blind spots of like where we've censored out play and censored out creativity and joy and exploration and maybe special interests, right? Those parts of ourselves that we've put in a drawer because they were judged or they were perceived or they were misunderstood. And this moon really shows us like how we continue to censor ourselves to keep ourselves safe and moves us out of those old patterns that we subconsciously created in order to survive. But censorship always takes away our joy and it always hides our gifts. And there's great power in exploring these parts of ourselves that we censor, like the parts that don't need to be fixed or healed all the time, right? Like the shadow doesn't need to be eradicated. Our shadows can also be golden. And Scorpio season invites us into this as an initiation, and it invites us to uncover the shame that we didn't even know that we've been carrying, right? But this full moon, I think, is also going to highlight the journey from a slightly different angle because it's Scorpio season, but the full moon itself is in Taurus. So while these signs are kind of contrasting, they still really fit together perfectly because Scorpio invites us into the shadow. It invites us to explore the shame. And then you have Taurus, who carries the energy of empowerment. Like Taurus has no place for shame. Taurus is this like delicious empress embodied energy. It's breaking out of the box that we've put ourselves into because Taurus energy brings us back to the body, like Lindsay said, right? It's Taurus energy is safety in the body. And when we have that empowered, embodied safety, it gives our psyche permission to bring these shadows to the surface because that safety is signaling that we can handle it. So it's an interesting journey because one of the places that we can like look for this golden shadow is maybe in the people that we judge or the people that we envy. It's not always in the people that we adore. And so this moon is illuminating where we might be carrying that shame by the way that we perceive other people. So we can sometimes tell where we're censoring ourselves by who we cringe at, who we think is too loud or too risque or too confident or too greedy or too sexual or whatever it is. This moon will really be illuminating like that trail for us, however it can, right? So be aware of where that shame may be hiding like what we really want. And reclaiming these gifts can feel so unfamiliar. It's weird because it's like, at the same time, it can also feel like coming home to yourself. It's like this weird duality of like coming home to yourself and remembering who you really are, all those parts that got conditioned and silenced, but it also feels really unfamiliar. And so it can be a lot, you know? But what I do want to say is that Scorpio season can feel kind of heavy, right? But I don't want us to necessarily get like carried away or overwhelmed thinking that we have to do all of this shadow work during Scorpio season. Like it doesn't mean that we become someone else overnight, right? You don't have to feel this energy to figure it out and to like fix it. It's a very subtle experience that we get to embody over time. And that's sort of the conversation between like the Taurus and the Scorpio energy. It's not about like rushing the transformation, but it's just about waiting, like waiting to give yourself the permission to see yourself. And so I think the questions, two questions that I'm asking myself during this season are, what would I do if I were infinitely loved and cared for? What would my day look like if I knew that I was infinitely loved and cared for, and that everything that I desire is already mine? It's already done. Time is the only variable. And I just have to work on being the match to the abundance that is waiting for me. So, what would I do? How would I act if I knew that were true? And what would I quit? Like, what would I quit doing, like right now? What would I just be done with? And so, with those questions lingering, I'd love to guide us through the lunar forecast for today's full moon because we've talked a little bit about like astrology, right? And I'd also like to weave in a little bit of human design into the conversation because today the moon is moving through three different gates. And these gates have a message for us. And I smiled while Lindsay was talking because she said sort of one of the main messages. So from late last night until early this morning, the moon was transiting through gate 24. And how fitting because gate 24 is the silent mystic. It is the sacred pause. So that gate, gate 24, connects the head to the anja, and it represents transformation through quiet contemplation. So this gate is all about basically like making sense of the truth without struggle. It doesn't force answers when we don't feel like we know the answer. It actually tells us to like release the mental pressure, release the need to understand everything right now because we have the knowing that it'll all come together. And we don't have to understand how or when or what in order to surrender to that knowing and into the silence, right? Silence is uncomfortable for a lot of people. It's uncomfortable for me. And when the world around us gets quiet, our thoughts get really loud. Like, and they usually happen in loops. It's like self-doubt, the shoulds. It's like all that mental noise that disconnects us from self, right? And so the lowest expression of gate 24 is actually addiction because in like basically addiction in its purest form is filling the void with a vice, right? It's not being able to handle the silence. You have to fill it with something, whether that's drugs or alcohol, which is like numbing. It can be overworking, which I'm guilty of. If you follow me on social media, I just created a post last week confessing that I'm a workaholic because I like to avoid myself. That's not normal. We can also be really addicted to like negativity and anxious thoughts and self-sabotaging behaviors. And so that the voice that doubts yourself can be really addictive. It can be really unhealthy, right? It's like, this won't work out. I'm behind. I need to do more. It's achieving something and not even giving yourself the opportunity to celebrate. You're already looking ahead to the next thing. No one wants what I have. I need to change. Um, but Gate 24 shows us the power in the pause. It reminds us to stay aware of when we fill the void with noise because we're trying to like push for answers. And so I love this gate today for us because as reflectors, like we're designed to wait and to sit in the sacred pause between like the knowing and then actually taking the action, right? And like making a decision. And so this transit amplifies that truth for all of us. And the Scorpio season, there's all this talk about shadows and transformation. And so maybe you're not even really sure what those shadows are, or like what you're or who you're supposed to transform into, or like what that even means, or like what direction you should even be facing, And so maybe you have more questions than answers during this time. That's good. You're in the sacred pause. We don't need to have answers to have knowing that it's all going to work out. And so today we get to let our nervous system settle a little bit and let silence be our teacher and sit in the discomfort of not knowing all the things, right? The voice of addiction wants to fill the void with noise and work and worry, but our truest essence of who we are can really only be found in that stillness, in the sacred pause. And so if you'd like, you can follow me into a little somatic affirmation. We can close our eyes, unclench your jaw. Whose jaw is clenched right now? Take the tongue from the top of your mouth, drop your jaw, loosen your shoulders, loosen your grip, palms up. And you can whisper out loud or in your mind's eye, I make space for silence and I let my wisdom rise from within. I make space for silence and I let my wisdom rise within. Now, by mid-morning, we moved out of that sacred pause and into gate 2, the direction of self. And I love this because I think sometimes we think, oh, direction of self, like, let me take action, let me figure out who I am. It's like, let me chase, right? Direction of self as like reflectors, because we're so open. My G center is wide open. I have no activated gates in my G center. So that direction of self, I can sometimes feel like I'm chasing it down and trying to figure it out. But gate 2 is the energy of the receiver. It is pure, divine, feminine energy that allows us to we let life move through us rather than trying to control the flow of it, right? And for reflectors, this energy can feel like an exhale because it's like the chase is over and it's asking us to open and to let the abundance of life flow to us, and to remember that alignment doesn't always come from constant motion, and it really comes from controlling the only thing we can control, right? Which is ourself and our energy, regardless of what's happening around us. And this gate is also, when we think of abundance, we think of like good things, right? We think of like money and love and travel and luck and compliments and like all good things. But it also means being able to receive whatever abundance life throws our way, the good, the bad, the ugly, and being able to like hold our frequency in these situations. Who are we when things don't go our way? Who are we when bad things happen to us? Life abundance doesn't just mean money and all that stuff. It can also mean pain and grief and misfortune and disappointment and regret and people talking shit and like things that challenge us to stay in our energy, and just being able to meet it all with gratitude and love and wholeness. Like all of it is life, all of it is abundance. And our only job is to stay open enough to feel it. And so this gate asks us to notice where we're not allowing ourselves to feel something, whether that be a compliment from a friend that we deflect. We're like, oh no. Or maybe it's a criticism from our spouse or our parents that make us defensive, right? This is all abundance. And we get to choose to meet it with like a thank you, right? That's like I'm speaking to myself right now. So you can follow me in a somatic affirmation if you'd like. You can place one hand on your heart and one on your sacral and breathe into your belly and say, I open to receive everything life offers me. I open to receive everything life offers me. Now we're in gate 2 for a couple more hours until 8:30 p.m. Eastern. As evening arrives, the moon will move into gate 23, which is the gate of assimilation. It's the last gate of the day. It'll carry us into tomorrow morning. And I had to look up what assimilation meant. I'm like, what does this word mean? Uh, Google, actually, ChatGPT. ChatGPT told me that assimilation literally means it doesn't mean to it means to absorb and integrate information so it becomes a part of you. So in human design language, this gate is talking about like experiences and ideas and being able to digest them mentally and energetically, not just mentally, but embody, it's the embodiment, right? And it's also the expression through the throat. So it connects the anja and the throat. So it's like, think of it like this, like we receive the download. It's like this aha moment. It's a radical insight of some sort. Gate 23 is how we process and communicate it so that others can understand it. So assimilation here doesn't mean like fitting in. It means integration. So it's like when that insight that used to feel really abstract suddenly becomes embodied wisdom. It's the difference between like being like, yeah, like I want to be unapologetically expressed. Like I want to be loud, I want to be myself. And then we post something on social media and we don't get any likes on it and we like shrink back, or someone has like a weird hateful comment and the self-talk starts. It's like, I know I don't want to be that way, but I'm not necessarily embodying that unapologetic expression. Well, this gate is the moment where we do. It's the moment where it fucking clicks. A concept clicks, and all of a sudden we are fully expressed. But sometimes that embodiment takes a little while to land, you know? And so, like, we don't think about what it takes to be. It's like the moment where we don't think about what it takes to be expressive. We simply express without second guessing, without fear that no one's listening, without the fear of being judged, without worrying that we're too much or that like we're too little. And honestly, too, it's not even all that negative stuff, but it's like we're not even trying to inspire people with our expression because, like, the other isn't even really a factor in the equation of expressing our truth. We express it for ourselves, not to be validated, not for performance, not for the good or the bad, right? And this energy transforms the freaking world because it gives everyone else permission to do exactly the same. It's like the purest energy out there, expression for the sake of it, not for performance or results or any intentions, good or bad, other than we would simply die if we didn't say the thing or do the thing because it just feels so good to share it for ourselves, regardless of one person's listening or a million people are listening. So maybe that's like the social media post. Maybe that's dancing, or maybe it's a piece of art that nobody even sees. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe you do film it and you do post it because that does feel good. Maybe it's also expressing yourself authentically in a relationship or with a parent. Again, not even for their reaction, not even for an apology, but for you. And on that note, here's the catch is we can't, like, as a reflector, we have so much wisdom, but we can't force the timing of our words on others. So yes, our truth transforms, but not always on the timeline that we're looking for. Meaning like we can't make others be ready to hear it. We can only stay true to our frequency and speak when the moment feels right and trust that the right people will hear it, or the people will hear it at the right time. But when we try to rush and we're in the energy of like speaking to prove or speaking to chase, our words can get misunderstood. But when we honor the timing and we release attachment to whatever else happens afterwards, our message typically lands and it feels really good. So if your insights feel like stuck, we don't have to force them. They're not lost. They're just marinating. They're just gestating, if you will. So that's the last gate of the day. And you can follow me if you'd like in a somatic affirmation. You can take a deep breath and feel our brow soften and feel your throat soften, right? It's that connection between the mind and the throat. And whisper, my words are medicine. I speak when truth moves through me. My words are medicine. I speak when truth moves through me. So together, these gates create a little story. 24 teaches us the power of the pause. 2 teaches us to open and receive. And then 23 teaches us to express without any attachment. The silent mystic becomes the receptive channel, and finally becomes the alchemal wordsmith, excuse me, the alchemal wordsmith. So it's like a progression from inner stillness to embodied presence to inspired expression. And last night, as I was like, looking all this stuff up and interpreting it, as I was writing it, it hit me that like that inner stillness, that embodied presence, and then that inspired expression is literally the exact rhythm of a reflector's like creative process. So I was like, I have to share this. Like, I know that there is some magical message in here for someone on this call. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these transits in the chat because a fun little activity is going and seeing if you have any of these gates activated in your human design chart. And like, yeah, funny how you were pulled toward the alchemist the other day, Christine. I know, I know. I've gotten like 100 people that messaged me that were like, "Oh my God, this is the best book ever." It was $1 at Goodwill. I almost put it down, and then I was like, "What am I doing?" Like, I don't know what it was. I was like, I literally was driving to Walmart, and I'm like, "Let me stop by Goodwill. I feel like there's something for me there." Well, there was like nothing good there, and then I'm walking out towards the bookshelf, and the alchemist was just sitting there, and I walked around with it in my hand for like 10 minutes debating if I should pay $1 for it. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I resisting my intuition right now? So anyway, so yeah, fun little activity there. See if it's in your chart. I'm curious if any of this resonated. Um, Let me see what else I have in my notes, if there was anything else. Yeah, before we jump into small groups, while we're on the topic of expression, and what it really means for a reflector to be in alignment with her truest expression, I'd like to make a little invitation. Okay. So starting in January, we're hosting a 28-day moon coded creation experience inside of the Radical Reflector Circle. It's called the Lunar Signal. And if you're not already in the circle, this is a chance to join the Reflector community for entrepreneurs for 28 days for a full lunar cycle as we travel through all 64 gates and create content directly from the moon's transits. So, I've been in the like marketing and business world for almost 10 years. And if there's one thing I know, it's that mainstream marketing advice isn't built for reflectors. Like, we're the 1%, we're multidimensional, we're ever becoming, we shift like the tides, we mirror the world around us. Like, and on any given day, we're only one facet of who we are. And we don't always fit, into like nice, cute little neat boxes of like content calendars and like in the Instagram feed and trying to brand ourselves like everyone else and make our brand like make sense to everyone. It's like trying to put ourselves in a box. So the whole idea behind this 28-day challenge is really to flip all of that from like people pleasing in our content, right? Trying to get people to engage, trying to put out there what we think is going to get people to follow us. It flips all that. And we're going to focus on creation as play. We're going to be the reflectors who are having fun, who dance and experiment and we don't overthink. And that's the girl that's going to magnetize everything that she desires because people just can't look away. So for 28 days, you'll receive like moon coded prompts that mirror the transits. We're going to travel through all 64 gates, kind of similarly to today, but then we're going to take it one step further and we're going to turn those into prompts that can fuel our creation. And registration is officially open. So we begin in January, which I love because I was trying to like squeeze it into maybe November, December. And I was like, it just hit me. I'm like, no, we're going to do it in January because New year, new me, duh. And it gives us 2 months to kind of like prepare, right, for whatever we need before diving into like the visibility of 2026. So I dropped the link in the chat. If you'd like to register, feel free to ask me questions, feel free to reach out. But I felt really called just with the energy of today to throw that out there. So now we'll jump into some small groups. And yeah, this is really just to get to meet other gals, make other connections, and just be seen and share some stories. And I always just feel so like good and nourished after hopping off like one of our calls. So let me go ahead and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on, we're not math doers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 of us with cameras on, a couple gals with cameras off, which is all good. I just don't want to put anybody in a room where nobody is. So if I happen to put you in a room and like everybody's cameras are off and they're going about their day and they're not chit-chatting, just go ahead and hop out of the room, hop back into the main room, and I can put you in a different room. So no harm, no foul there. I'm just counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let me go ahead and do some breakout rooms. Okay, let's make sure. Sarah. Okay, wonderful. I think this should be good. So, like I said, if you're in a room where people's cameras are off and they're not chatting, all good, just hop right back in. And like this is kind of like speed dating in a way. So feel free to like share whatever you want. Feel free to share where you're from, how you learned you were a reflector. But if you would like, here's sort of a conversation starter that we can be talking about. So the question is, what is this Scorpio season calling you to face and integrate? So we're sharing what this Scorpio season is bringing out for us. The rooms are open and you can go ahead and join. And we'll be in these rooms for about 8 minutes and then we'll come back in and then we'll do it again. Okay, there's always some like crazy synchronicities. So I want to hear what synchronicities there were in all the groups. Who wants to share? Who feels called?
Yeah. I did not get to share, so I'm happy to.
Yes, please.
Hey Chris, what's up? What's up, Chris? Good to see you again. Okay.
Whatever.
What's up, guys? I'm Eva. I'm a 5-1 reflector in Denver. This Scorpio season has been inviting me to sit with my addictions, ironically. And by addictions, I actually don't mean like substance, but like distractions. And I'm a Scorpio rising, Libra moon, no, Libra sun, Cancer moon, Scorpio rising. And so my evolution is actually embodying Scorpio energy. And my Chiron's in Leo. So it's all about this like powerful stepping in, like just fuck it. Just say the thing. Who gives a shit? Just live in your purpose. And if someone shows up, like cool kind of thing. And ironically, there's a lot of um I've had a few examples where, like, at the beginning of Libra season, I was going through money belief restructuring and I had some lower back pain. And a few days ago, I was going through kind of this Scorpio energy belief system restructuring, and my back pain came back. And so I'm actually actively watching my body react to belief systems that are being unearthed for my transformation. And I have a physical therapist on speed dial for everything else. So that's what I'm going through.
Do you follow Trish Nestler by chance on Instagram? She's a reflector. So
High
perhaps if
probability,
you
no
do,
idea.
perhaps you might, just from y'all's like circles interlapping. But her whole thing is that so she's not a physical therapist. She's like a holistic type of practitioner. She does a lot of work for us inside the Radical Reflector Circle, but she talks a lot about how physical symptoms are often the result of like emotional turbulence would be one word for it. So that's what that made me think of. She talks a lot about it. She has a whole podcast about it.
The book by Louisa Hayes, You Can Heal Your Life, is insane for pain in the body, understanding the fear or anger associated with it, and starting to move through it with like mindfulness and affirmations. So,
They're called?
yeah, if you could spell that, Chris, that would be awesome for Trisha's
Yeah, here
full name.
I'm dropping it in the chat. Let me go ahead and also see what her handle is. I'm obsessed with her. She's amazing. Hold on. What's the book called?
Allow me to verify. You can. Louise Hay, I'll drop it in the chat. Um, Incredible book, but it's all about how dis-ease, I'm not going to use the word disease, but emotion shows up in the body. So, like, I was having lower back pain. Lower back pain is associated with like fear of money, safety, stability, and then the associated like affirmations to go through it. And my PT friend like has resolved pain in her body in a matter of days with this book. So I'll drop it in for anyone who's interested.
Yeah, drop it in. I really am curious. Who else wants to share? Did anybody not get a chance to express? Anybody had a cool synchronicity of what you and another person in your group are both transmuting during this time? Well, we can jump into one more round of the small groups. I love the small groups because it's just a little bit easier to share. Do you think three groups is working? So like three or four people in there. Let me make sure that everybody is kind of getting um a new group. It keeps trying to put us 4 6s together, guys. Let me move Sarah around. Give me 1 second. Okay, if you end up with the same person in your group, it just means that you need to be best friends. So I'm sorry if that happens. Hopefully, everybody gets like a new splash of energy and rooms are open. And we'll be in here for another 8 to 10 minutes. Would anybody like to share? Would anybody like to say anything?
We just got really into the discussion of the projection field and just how significant that's been for the past while for me, at least the entire year. But like being a reflector, we hit that anyway. And then it's like I was talking just like everything coming up. It's just people are like, I don't want to fucking see my humanity. Stop showing me humanity. It's not for me. And it's so funny how much we're all experiencing that projection intensifying right now.
Yes. That's why I love like chatting because every single time it's like I say what's going on for myself and everybody else can like just totally relate and are going through similar things.
I think that's a really beautiful part about being a reflector because sometimes when we're alone in it, we go, "Oh, I'm just going through hell," and no, like I'm alone, but really, like we're the barometer. So everyone's kind of going through this, at least at the very minimal, the collectives we touch into, and so we're not going through hell alone. Like we're representing what everyone else is experiencing, and we're just showing it visibly. You know?
Yeah, and we're aware of it like because our design forces us to feel it, whereas everyone else has like the hard wiring that overrides what collectively is going on. Like that's their default is like what their design is, but we feel it all. Yeah. So even if they're not consciously aware, they're still feeling it or they're still embodying it, I guess you could say, or processing it or whatever it is. Yeah. What
Yeah,
else?
and in both groups that I was in, we talked a lot about having to let go of a lot of misaligned relationships and or redefine misaligned relationships as well, because sometimes you can't always let go of them fully, but you can change the terms of the relationship. And before that process happens, the heaviness that comes with it is so overwhelming and draining. But once we start to make those adjustments and clear out the space that those relationships were taking up, it makes so much more space for truly aligned relationships, opportunities, whatever it might be, to come in, because it's not just draining us and taking all our focus on that. We actually have space and capacity for what is truly alignment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
Did we
so
all just have the same conversation? That's so funny. Because I didn't even
literally.
talk to you, Mackenzie, and we all like my two conversations were like the same thing, kind of. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a helpful tool for anyone, but it just popped into my consciousness. Christina, you were talking about how like we are experiencing what the world is experiencing. And when Scorpio season hit, I intuitively started listening to the book Zero Limits by Joe Vitale. I'm a book person. I am addicted to books. It's better than drugs. I will admit it on this call. Okay, but the phrase is the Ho'oponopono Hawaiian prayer that he speaks to is actually all about like cleaning the self. And I had felt like I was projecting and then take it. Look, Iris has it in her hand. I'm getting goosebumps. Oh my God. And I was talking to Iris about how she was leading me spiritually with what was on her camera. I can't talk about it. Okay. But anyway, the prayer itself is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And it's like cleaning the self. And I like started listening to it at Scorpio season turn. And so I don't know if anyone else could lean on that for a very easy mantra prayer in the moment because it is helping me process what is external right now. Chills, lazy, chill. Chris, we're meant to have this call. You're the best. Thank you so much.
I know.
I did not know that was actually who wrote that book or whatever, but I have a similar experience. I did a Tony Robbins seminar like in like 2022 or something, and that was one of the exercises we did on relationship day. And that relationship has ended now, but it definitely was something that like it was one of the most intense weeks of my life. But that specific day, relationship day, we did that. We had to do it to each other. And it was the most like insane thing I've ever experienced in my life. And then when I started initially this year, started doing a lot of inner child work, I use that mantra. I use I love you, I'm sorry, I
Mm.
forgive you, thank you, to myself and with mirror work. And whew, girl, it's crazy stuff. But I am so interested that there's a whole book that is written now. So thank you for sharing that.
Damn, Tony Robbins be getting into some spiritual stuff, huh? I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, it was crazy. What's like his big summit thing he does? I forget the name of it, but like the big one that everybody goes to. Like, but yeah, I did that online in like 2022 for a week. It's crazy and so transformative. But yeah, yeah, he gets in deep. He doesn't play
He's not
at
playing.
all. Mm-mm.
Anyone else?
I'm just so inspired. I stepped in a little late, but Lindsay, I want to say thank you so much. It was so fucking aligned because I was like dealing with shit. And I was like, man, I'm gonna miss the call. And I was like, you know, it's better to hop on late than whatever. And I was like, but I don't want to come in with weird energy. I'll just be quiet. And then I came into Lindsay's guidance and I was like, oh. I was just like saved. And then to be in here with you all, knowing there is such not just a shared design and experience, but like a shared love, a shared willingness to be open, to be transformed, to be taught. I'm just so inspired, so fucking uplifted, knowing that I came in with some weird, bizarre dealing with life energy. So thank you. Honestly, just thank you. And thank you, Christine, for organizing.
Honestly, Lacey, that's all of us right now. So like this is the best place to be at because we can just like pass it back and forth, you know. You have no open center, you have no defined center. So here, take it and just flow that out that way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was so good. Thank you so much, Lindsay. It was so perfect. I didn't know what to expect, you know. I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be powerful. I was excited, you know. You said meditation. I'm like, "All right, cool. Like, let's do it." It was so perfect. It was so just cosmically aligned for what we all needed. Yeah. So beautiful. Well, we're past the 75 minutes, but before we hop off, let's make sure we drop our social media handles in the chat. I know I've said that a couple times, but we've,
Yeah, and can I say something really quick too?
of course.
I'm gonna put my social in the chat too, but if anyone's interested in having a one-on-one session with me, I'm gonna put a coupon code for you guys. I do breathwork sessions and also do integration coaching for people that are working with psychedelic medication medicines or yeah, so if you've had like a big experience and you just need someone to hold space and like help you navigate what you're moving through, I'd love to support you. So that's what I'm doing.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yeah, I cannot,
Also, if you're on the East Coast, I'm sorry to interrupt.
no.
The moon just took my breath away. I'm sitting right here because I knew the moonrise was going to happen while we were on the call. It is unbelievable. Like right now, it's massive. So if you want to go outside and see it, it is there, and I'm going to take some pictures and I'll put it on my stories.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. And yeah, I just to emphasize again, I cannot recommend Lindsay enough. Lindsay came in and did a session for us. Was it in August or September? And we were all just so blown away. All of us just wept. I'm sure not all your sessions are like that intense or deep, or maybe they are. I don't know. But it was so powerful. So I just want to throw a recommendation out there for Lindsay that yeah, you are in very, very good hands. But let's make sure we're dropping our social medias in there just so that we have sort of like new fan club members, like, you know, that want to support us. Like, I just know that for me, it's so much easier to be visible and like share my truth when I know that I have an army of reflectors behind me, you know, who are like going to understand me and cheer me on. So drop that in the chat. Let's follow each other. And thank you to everybody who came and who joined and stayed on, and or anyone who's watching the replay back. We'll do this again in December, and we do need a couple ladies who feel called to come up and share. We need someone to do the full moon portion of our meetup. We need someone if they have a meditation or a visualization or really any gift, like any gift that you want to share in a safe place. Maybe you want to get some practice public speaking or like trying something new. And so if you feel called to this as I'm speaking right now, please message me. Maybe you're like, I want to share, like I would love to share, but I don't even know what I would share. Like, great, let's figure that out. Message me and we can figure it out together. So I hope that the last hour and a half filled your cups and brought you a little closer to yourself. I hope you made a couple new friends. Everyone in here is so loved and is such a gift to this world. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the rest of the full moon. If anything comes up for you within the next couple of days and you want a safe place to talk about it and release it, you can always message me. You can always share it in our free Telegram, which is such a special, magical, safe place too. So I love everybody and I'll see you next time. Mwah.
Thank you.